Hello everybody and thank you for joining me in today's Daf Yomi. Today we're doing Daf 23 Amud A of Shevuot. Let's dive straight in. And since the Hebrew word tirosh mentioned in the verse is wine, and it is written with regard to it, and you shall eat, this indicates that drinking is an activity included in eating. The Gemara challenges, but perhaps the verse is referring to consuming wine by means of anirogen, from the Greek onagoron, meaning wine mixed with oil. As Rabbi Bar Shmuel says, a nigron is a stew of beet greens. The beet mentioned in this context is Beta Valgon Sisla, an annual garden vegetable from Ishnaponi family. Its large fleshy leaves grow up to 15 to 30 centimeters long and are now edible when cooked, with a taste similar to that of spinach. Nowadays, the leaves are also used as bird food. And wine, and isagrion, from the Greek, meaning wine vinegar combined with small fish and other substances, is a stew of all types of cooked vegetables. If so, the wine in the verse is not drunk but eaten. Rather, Rav Aha Bar Yaakov said, "Cited from her verse written with regard to money, with which one has redeemed second tithe, and you shall bestow the money for whatsoever your soul desires, for oxen, and for sheep, and for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever your soul asks of you. You shall eat there before the Lord your God. You shall rejoice, you and your house," in Deuteronomy 14:26. The Hebrew word yayin mentioned in the verse is wine, and it is written, "and you shall eat." The Gemara challenges, but perhaps here this verse is also referring to consuming wine by means of a nigron. The Gemara rejects this. Strongly is written in the verse referring to something intoxicating, and wine mixed into stew is not intoxicating. The Gemara challenges, but perhaps the intoxicating substance referred to in the verse is pressed figs from Ke'ilah. As it is taught in a Braita, a priest who ate pressed figs from Ke'ilah, one who is drunk due to consuming intoxicants other than wine, is prohibited from entering the temple and is liable to receive lashes if he does so. Nevertheless, if he is a priest who serves in the temple while intoxicated in this manner, the rites he performs are not disqualified. Only rites performed by a priest who is drunk on wine are disqualified. That's Roman Sefer Vodi Hilchot Beis Hamikdash 1-2. Or drank honey or milk. So what's that? It appears that all three of these substances can ferment and produce alcohol. The sweet dry fig cakes produced in Ke'ilah, a settlement in Judea, had concentrated levels of natural sugar. Totot and Erevin 27b suggests that the figs of Ke'ilah were soaked in water for a specific purpose of creating an intoxicating beverage. Similarly, honey can undergo fermentation process that produces mead, or in the case of date honey, date wine. Milk can also ferment, and in some cultures it is common to drink fermented alcoholic milk beverages known as kefir. In the Bible, there are references to the intoxicating powers of milk. See Judges 4:19. Another possibility is that the word chalav here, rather than noting milk, is referring to white date wine. This usage appears a number of times in rabbinic literature. The Jewish Talmud in Shabbat 19:5 discusses chalav in the context of teruma, which can consist only of produce. Similarly, the Targum translates the word halavi in the Song of Songs 5:1 as referring to white wine, and that's from the Torah Shlema. And entered the temple and performed. One who is prohibited from entering the temple court while drunk. Violation of this prohibition renders one liable to receive death at the hand of heaven, but not by a human court. Leviticus 10:9. Priests drink the quarter log of wine included in this category. If a priest serves in the temple while drunk from wine, his service is disqualified, while intoxication resulting from other substances does not disqualify the service. The sacrificial rites is liable for violating the prohibition against conducting this temple service while intoxicated. Rather, one derives the meaning of strong drink in this verse by means of a verbal analogy from the verse about a Nazarite. He shall abstain from wine and strong drink. He shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liqueur of grapes, nor eat fresh grapes or dried. Number 6.3. Just as there, the strong drink that is forbidden to the Nazarite is referring to a type of wine, so to hear the verse is referring to wine. Rather said, we learn in a Mishnah as well that drinking is included in the eating. The Mishnah teaches if one said, "On my oath I will not eat," but then he ate and drank, he's liable to bring only one offering. Granted, if you say that drink is included in eating, then is it necessary for the Tanna to teach us that he is liable to bring only one offering? But if you say that drinking is not included in eating, there is no reason for the Tanna to teach that this is only one violation. If one says, "On my oath I will not eat," and he ate and performed some kind of labor, it would be necessary to teach that the person both is liable to bring only one offering. He never took an oath prohibiting labor. Abai said to him, "What rather is your conclusion that drinking is included in eating?" Say the last clause of the Mishnah. If he said, "On my oath I will not eat and I will not drink," and then he ate and drank, he is liable to bring two offerings. According to you, however, once he said, "I will not eat," drinking has become forbidden to him. So when he said, "I will not drink," why is he rendered liable to bring a separate offering? If he had said, "I will not drink" 2 times, he would be liable to bring 2 offerings. Rather said to him there in the Mishnah, it is not actually a case where he said, "I will not drink," and then said, "I will not eat." Although it is so that drinking is included in eating, it is not so that eating is included in drinking. One who partook an oath that he will not drink that day is permitted to eat, and eating is not included in an oath that prohibits one from drinking. This ruling is according to the Gemara here. The Rambam Sefer Fla Hilchos Shevuot 4.4. See Kesher Mishnah there Shulchan Aruch Yodeh 238.2. And the oath not to drink went into effect independently of the oath not to eat. Therefore, he is liable to bring 2 offerings. The Gemara asks, but according to this, if he said, "On my oath I will not eat and I will not drink," and then he ate and drank, what is halacha? Is it that he is liable to bring only 1 offering? If that is so, rather than teaching in the first clause of the Mishnah that one who said, "On my oath I will not eat," and then ate and drank is liable to bring only 1 offering, then the Tanna teaches the following: if one says, "On my oath I will not eat and I will not drink," and he ate and drank, he is liable to bring only 1 offering. From that ruling could be concluded that when one takes an oath, "I will not eat" alone, well, the more so is liable to bring only 1 offering. Rather, the Mishnah actually is, as this is taught, that one who took an oath not to eat and drink, then ate and drank, is liable to bring 2 offerings, even though drink is included in the eating, and here it is different. Since he said, "I will not eat," and then he said, "I will not drink," he reveals his intention that eating that he stated first is eating alone, and does not include drinking. Rav Ashi said the Mishnah is also precisely formulated according to the opinion of Shmuel that drinking is included in eating. It teaches if he said, "On my oath I will not drink, I will not eat," and he ate foods that are inedible or drank liquids that are not potable, he is exempt. But if the liquids were fit for consumption, he would be liable. And why? The Mishnah teaches that he took an oath saying, "On my oath I will not eat," without mentioning drinking, which indicates that drinking is included in eating. The Gemara rejects this. Perhaps the Mishnah is referring to a case where he said both, "On my oath I will not eat," and "On my oath I will not drink." The Mishnah did not spell out the second oath because its primary interest was in teaching that eating or drinking that which is inedible or not potable is not considered eating or drinking. The Mishnah teaches that if one said, "On my oath I will not eat," and then ate wheat bread and barley bread and spelt bread, he is liable to bring only 1 offering. If he said, "On my oath I will not eat wheat bread or barley bread or spelt bread," and then he ate all of them, he must bring an offering for each one. The Gemara challenges, but perhaps when he details each type of bread, it comes to ensure that he exempts himself from having other foods included in the oath, not to indicate that each type of bread is a separate oath. The Gemara answers, if that was his intention, he could have just said wheat, barley, and spelt, without mentioning bread each time, but from the fact that he mentioned bread each time, it can be understood that his intention was that each be considered a separate oath. The Gemara rejects it, but if he did not mention bread, perhaps his oath could be interpreted as to prohibit chewing lachos. What's lachos? Lachos meaning to chew or to eat dry food in small amounts. This term is used for consuming whole kernels of grain which are eaten as a snack. Whole kernels. Medilma lachos. Rashi explains that if he had not mentioned bread, one might have understood that he is prohibiting chewing only the raw kernels of these grains, but that he is still permitted to eat bread. Other commentaries have a textual variation that reads, but perhaps even to prohibit chewing, meaning that if he had not mentioned bread, one would have thought that chewing kernels is prohibited in addition to eating bread. The mentions the Meiri, and of wheat on the left and a kernel of barley on the right of these grains, and he consequently mentioned bread to limit the oath to bread. The Gemara suggests, if his intention was to ensure that his oath does not extend to other foods, He could have just said bread made from wheat or barley or spelt. In that way, his oath would have been limited to just bread. The one rejects is if he had said it that way, perhaps his oath could have been interpreted to prohibit from eating wheat bread and from chewing whole kernels of barley or spelt. The Gemara suggests, if his intention was to ensure that his oath does not extend to other foods, he could just have said bread made from wheat, from barley, and from spelt, thereby limiting his oath to types of bread. Thank you for listening and all the best. Bye.